Hello, people of the internet, and welcome to another video here with the League of Opinionated Gentlemen. This is the Wrestling Fantasy Log. Not the Fantasy Log. Why do I keep saying it? The Wrestling News Log. I keep doing that. I'm not used to
You caught yourself this time.
Yes. Wrestling News Log.
Oh, we'll be talking about him. Oh boy, will we be talking about him? Because good lord.
We'll get there. Yes, this is where me and Jeff go through all the news in wrestling for the week. So we're going to do that. This is what we do.
To the wheel.
Precisely. For those of you who tuned, of course, I put the number of news items on a wheel, and we go in a random order to choose the stories that we will be going with.
Wheel of facepalm.
Perhaps.
When it comes to Cena, giant fucking facepalm.
Okay.
Unless you don't have what I have about Cena.
Well, I hope I have what you have about Cena.
We'll see when we get there.
I don't know. What do you have about Cena?
The latest in Nikki Bella dumps John Cena.
Yes, we have that.
Yeah.
So we're good on that. All right. We have 11 news items tonight, just FYI. And this week's program, for those who didn't check the title, this is the Wrestling News Log, all in, except SmackDown.
Well, not necessarily. Did you get the latest about that? That just made me go, oh God, Vince, no, don't you fucking do that.
We'll get there. So, I'm going to go ahead and kick off the wheel here, and we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
I want to spin, Pat.
Open it up with number 8. Okay. This one was inevitable. But now we do, in fact, actually have it. Let me go over here. I can open this up properly. That's fine. All right. So you may recall that Shane McMahon was having some medical issues.
Yes.
And it was noted by WWE just the equivalent of yesterday, if you're in Jeff's neck of the woods and it's still considered Friday night for you, that last Friday in New York City, Shane McMahon, the SmackDown Live commissioner, underwent a successful hernia surgery.
Okay.
He is resting at home and feeling well, and excited to get back to work on SmackDown Live. As soon as more information and a timetable for return becomes available, they will have it. So we wish Shane a speedy recovery, and we're glad that he got that dealt with.
We are, but how about no? Just let Paige do her job.
Or that.
Because Paige is immensely entertaining as the GM.
She is. For those who recall, of course, Shane's been dealing with an umbilical hernia since before the WrestleMania event where he teamed with Daniel Bryan in a tag team match.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see. See what else we got. Number 6. All right.
Jim?
Yo?
I'd like to point out number 8 is still on the wheel.
No, I didn't click the thing. All right, fair. Hang on. We'll deal with that. Thank you.
You need to roll again for the news.
Yeah. Well, we'll just kill that out.
And set it to auto-delete. There you go. Apply wheel changes.
All right. So we will then spin again. It'll be number 2 instead. Fair enough. And that's the big one. One of the two big ones of the week.
All right.
So let's go ahead and talk about that. Pop this up here. So, people, they were dared. It was said it couldn't be done. But we have gone all in. And Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks did manage to sell out their 10,000-seat arena.
In under half an hour.
And that's correct. In anywhere between 30 and 45 minutes. I think it was 35 was Cody's tweet.
I believe it was 29 minutes and something seconds.
Mm.
That's the reports I've been seeing. Which has been reiterated in tweets to Cody Rhodes, congratulating him on selling out the arena, like from Mick Foley and shit.
I don't know.
Well, that's what I saw. Wow, what the hell?
Problem?
Oh yeah, I got to do a reboot. I'm gonna have to do another one, but okay. Anyway, Twitter. Yeah, got it. Whatever, I don't care. Mick Foley. There he is. All right, Mickles. Let's see if I can find your tweet to shoot. I don't know when did he send that tweet?
I don't know.
When did the tickets go on sale? When were they sold out? Do you have the date?
I am not entirely sure. Let's see.
That doesn't help. We're going to be here for a while if you don't have the date.
We'll figure it out. Let's see. Today, May 13th.
Scrolling all the way to May 13th.
You're right. 29 minutes, 36 seconds. That was Cody's exact tweet. That was Cody.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. So yes, they effectively sold out the building.
Now, Colt Cabana tweeted out about it too.
Cool. So yes, of course, that is keeping score at home. The first time a wrestling event in North America that was not WWE was able to sell out a 10,000-seat arena.
Mm-hmm.
That will put attendance at over 10,000. The first time an independent event sold that many tickets, and the first time in almost 2 decades that any wrestling promotion other than WWE has sold that many tickets in the U.S. The sellout comes with no advertised matches, just several names scheduled, including the Young Bucks and Cody, along with Kenny Omega, Kazuchika Okada, and Rey Mysterio.
And CM Punk.
I not heard CM Punk.
He's there. I don't know if he's going to be in the event, but he's there. He's there for the fucking access thing before it.
All right.
So people are hoping he'll actually show up during the event since he'll actually be there.
Okay.
But he was I don't know if he's actually going to be there or not, but he was advertised as going to be there for signings and shit.
Okay.
Because it's in Chicago.
Right. Okay.
So supposedly he's going to be there.
Purportedly. All right, let's continue on the all-in train here. As there are further developments in the all-in news.
Okay.
So, first of all, during Sunday's all-in press conference that happened last Sunday, it was announced that Rey Mysterio would be confirmed that Rey Mysterio would be appearing at the event. It was kind of up in the air, but they did confirm he will be there.
Mm-hmm.
He joins competitors Marty Scurll, Adam Page, Kenny Omega, Stephen Amell, Tessa Blanchard, Deonna Purrazzo, Phoenix, Pentagon Jr., Chelsea Green, Joey Janela, Penelope Ford, Kazuchika Okada, Jay Lethal, Britt Baker, and Matt Cross as names that are confirmed for the show.
Mm.
There you go. But it gets more interesting.
Okay.
Because I can tell you who is in fact not in.
Okay.
Anyway. That's not the one I thought it was. It is just random worth noting, by the way, that apparently some fans claim that scalpers got most of the tickets and they were screwed. StubHub is only listing 148 tickets out of the 10,000 as of this writing, so which was back on the 13th. So it looks like the majority of the tickets were actually sold to actual fans and were not going to scalpers, so that's good.
Of course, Mick Foley would take a selfie with the Mower of Lawn T-shirt.
Well, yeah.
Anyway.
So, well, yeah, I mean, it's the mower of lawns, wouldn't you?
Yeah. And he took a photo of it and tweeted it. It was like, hey, I took a picture of Matt Hardy Brand's T-shirt. Hashtag Woken. Hashtag Mower of Lawn.
I'm still waiting for my Chair of Wheels T-shirt.
Well, if we ever get the deletion of Michael Cole, we'll get that T-shirt.
Okay, sounds good.
Because Matt Hardy has threatened to put Michael Cole on the chair of wheels.
Okay. So, going back to my earlier point, there is at least one person who is not all in.
Yeah.
Because Cody Rhodes does not want him all in.
Okay.
And that's Vince Russo.
Fair.
Vince Russo put out a tweet, and I quote. Let's see here. Oh, hang on. So basically, Vince Russo previously offered his services in a tweet back on March 16th, stating, "Openly rendering my services to @Cody Rhodes and @Nick Jackson YB1. YB. I want to bring back part of wrestling that we all know is missing. Offering my services to cut in-ring promo on all marks who attend All In. You guys are great at what you do, but business is missing reality and controversy." According to Vince Russo.
Of course it is.
And Vince Russo added another tweet that went up on May 11th, stating, "The absolute fact, capital letters, that I am ready, willing, and able to appear at All In, while others are already attempting to do everything, capital letters, in their power to keep me from attending, tells you just about everything you need to know about me and them." And in direct response to that tweet, Cody Rhodes tweeted, "We don't reward bad behavior. Stay away from our event."
Fair.
Yes. And in a throwback to an old story, we have a throwback.
Okay.
Let me scroll down here. Come on. Stupid web page. There we go. Because, of course, Russo getting rejected for being at this show, you can imagine that news kind of spread around because social media. And there was one man who was absolutely thrilled at that news.
Okay.
And that man is Jim Cornette.
Okay.
Of course, we did a series of stories earlier in the year about the legendary feud between Jim Cornette and Vince Russo, and Jim Cornette's attempt to book Vince Russo to fight him in a park for $10,000.
Okay, then.
You might remember that.
Vaguely.
Surprise, that was kind of a big story. It recurred for weeks. He was going to fight him in a park for $10,000. It was a hope they were going back and forth in their podcasts. It was a whole big deal.
Oh, yes, I do remember that.
Remember all that shit?
Yes.
Well, Jim Cornette addressed this on the Jim Cornette Experience, stating he knocks them all the time. So about Cody turning down. So why would he want to? If he believes he has any credibility, why would he want to associate himself with that when where then people would have to say, well, look, Russo knocks them. Same thing I thought immediately. Russo knocks them, but he's not above a payoff to come up here and be a part of the thing. That was my main consideration for not being involved, because I don't want people to think that I'm a fucking hypocrite. But he has no problem with that. But then to not know enough to take the booking and not realize that a bunch of the people on the show that are running the show, because it's the boys running the show, I believe we've mentioned that the boys wouldn't want you on the show because dealing with him is like picking up a turd from the clean end. There's absolutely no way to do it where you can please the majority of the people involved in the situation because nobody wants him around.
True.
And he would go on to add that the only thing that both wrestlers and fans, regardless of age, can agree on wholeheartedly is that, and I quote, Vince Russo is a complete fucking idiot. No, Vince Russo will not be all in, despite his best attempts to be all in. All right.
But there is someone who could potentially be all in.
Who's that?
That people have been talking about recently.
Who's that?
Yes! Yes! Yes!
No, he won't. WWE has anything to say about it.
WWE might not have anything to say about it, and the reason why people are saying he could be all in is because his contract kind of ends before All In, and he hasn't re-upped his contract yet.
Yes, but the fact that they're now allowing him to wrestle again, he'd be stupid to walk away from that kind of money and exposure.
I don't know, because before they allowed him to wrestle, he was saying he would love to wrestle on the Indies and stuff again, and he's been invited. So
yeah, he said he would if WWE wasn't going to let him wrestle again. That was always his caveat.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that they're not letting him wrestle again and he's actually competing, it seems incredibly unlikely he would walk away from that kind of payday, especially because Daniel Bryan has to consider, not only does that affect his career, but if they let him back, they went through all the effort to let him back in the ring and have this whole big push of, hey, Daniel Bryan's back in the ring, and he turns around and walks out. Not only what is that going to do to him, but what is that going to do to Brie and her multiple television deals?
Yeah.
He has to consider more than just himself here. I want to wrestle on the cool indie show. Well, you're not the cool indie boy anymore, Daniel Bryan. You gave that up for the big leagues. You have to accept that.
Yeah. But you never know. It's still a possibility. Because like I said, people pointed out, his contract is up in like September, and he has yet to renegotiate. And that has some people saying, is he going to let it lapse and then he's going to show up at All In?
Yeah, but there's no reason for him to let it lapse. There's absolutely no reason. It will be one of the stupidest career decisions in the history of professional wrestling.
Potentially.
Potentium.
But I'm just saying what I've heard. And I was like, okay, I can see the logic in the arguments.
I'm saying what you've heard is stupid and doesn't have logic.
You heard it here. You heard it here, folks. He's calling y'all stupid.
I'm saying internet rumors can sometimes be unfounded. You have to choose to believe what you believe and don't believe what you don't believe. But at least make an educated guess about it. And yes, I fully believe Daniel Bryan wants to be at that show, and I fully believe that, if it were within his power, he would be at that show. Given that WWE would out of their way to clear him and allow him to wrestle again, I don't think he would throw that back in their face and throw out that much goodwill that will potentially affect not just him, but his beloved wife. It would be an incredibly stupid thing for him to do, to turn around and screw all that up for no reason. Not after all WWE has done for him, letting him get back in the ring, all they've done for his wife. The fact that even if he were to walk away right now, WWE has pretty much put Birdie through college.
True.
I mean, if he turned around and did that, that would burn a bridge like nobody's business, and I don't think he would do that.
That's fair. We'll see what happens.
Let's go back to the wheel. And 6, where we were at before. Speaking of potential controversial figures leaving the WWE. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now, it's worth noting that this does not necessarily denote any truth of what actually happened, but it at least bodes in a decent direction.
Okay.
So, given that I may never have an opportunity to do this again, I'm going to do this. Hang on. I'm going to... Oh, good, the wheel turned off. Okay, that's what I wanted.
Okay.
That was not my intent, but that works. So, as I mentioned, given that I might not have another opportunity, I'm going to take advantage and I'm going to go ahead and do this because the direction this has headed, I feel 80% comfortable doing this based on the news that has come out this week.
Okay.
Testing.
Oh, no. Are you going to do what I think you're going to do?
My name is Enzo Amore, and I am a certified G and a bona fide stud, and you can't teach that. Bada boom, realest guy in the room. How you doing?
Yeah, that doesn't mean he's coming back, though.
No, I don't think he's ever coming back. That would be a little too controversial, but it is worth noting in the news this week. Via an official in summary, via an official statement that was Enzo put out, as detailed by his attorney, all the sexual assault charges, rape charges, what have you, against Enzo have been, in fact, charges that were never actually filed. They were investigating to find out if there was enough to file charges, and there was not. So all investigation about Enzo has been closed due to lack of evidence.
Right.
This May 15th, this came out. This is from the office of Tom Cargill, PA, and Eric Art, a.k.a. Enzo Amore's official legal counsel. On January 22nd, 2018, Eric Art, also known as Enzo Amore for World Wrestling Entertainment, was accused via the internet and social media of misconduct during an alleged incident in Phoenix, Arizona several months earlier. Prior to that date, no law enforcement or any other officials had contacted Mr. Art regarding such claims. However, after the careless, unfounded tirade on social media, Mr. Art learned of these accusations when his counsel reached out to Phoenix police. Subsequently, and as evidenced by the vast amount of online admissions and other publicly available information, it was soon clear that the accuser exhibited a complete lack of truth or credibility. At all times, Mr. Art fully and unequivocally denied such accusations and remained confident in clearing his name. The Phoenix Police Department recently informed Mr. Art and his counsel that there is insufficient evidence in this matter to warrant any criminal charges, that the matter will not be transferred to the county attorney for prosecution, and that their investigation and case is closed. No charges were ever filed. The matter is closed. Mr. Art expresses his gratitude for the enormous amount of support from his fans and followers during this time period. The support has carried him through these events and opened his eyes to the faith and loyalty of those who have cheered and followed his career. This experience has further taught Mr. Art to be cautious with his personal associations because false, defamatory, and unfounded accusations can alter and impact the lives and careers of the falsely accused and their families. Mr. Art is working diligently toward his next venture in the entertainment industry and looks forward to reconnecting with his fans in a big way in the very near future.
Okay, then.
Tom Cargill, PA, is Mr. Art's personal general counsel. Osborne Maladon, PA, served as his defense counsel in Phoenix regarding the alleged incident and accusations. So there you go. Now, take that statement I just read. Brings up an interesting point, if you think about it.
Okay.
Why did WWE fire Enzo?
For various reasons, but the straw that brought the camel's back was the fact that he lied to them.
Did he?
Well, all official reports say he knew he was under investigation, and while under contract, he is to divulge that information to WWE that he is under investigation, and he never did.
Right, except here's the point.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the situation.
Okay.
Now, Enzo was fired in January 23rd, right after this came out on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
It was very clearly just stated in Enzo's attorney's statement that on January 22nd, he was accused via the internet and social media about the misconduct. It came out on social media. Prior to that date, no law enforcement or any other officials had contacted Mr. Arndt regarding such claims.
Mm.
However, after the careless, unfounded tirade on social media, Mr. Arndt learned of these accusations when counsel reached out to Phoenix police. How can they fire Enzo for lying to them if he didn't know?
Well, obviously they found some proof that he knew. They wouldn't just fire him if that was a fact that he didn't know. So obviously they have something. Obviously there's something the council doesn't know or is hiding. That gets the question is, do you trust a lawyer or do you trust WWE more? Do you think WWE would fire somebody on just rumors and assumptions?
I think that Enzo had already pushed a lot of buttons in WWE, and a lot of people in the company were not totally pleased with him, as it was for a variety of other reasons, and that this was a good opportunity for them to have a good public reason to fire him without it coming back on them.
It is. I don't know. I just don't see WWE outright lying, like not lying, but I guess lying and manufacturing a reason to fire Enzo.
What is manufacturing? I mean, he was still under investigation, which is good reason to at least, to fire him if they feel that way. But the key here is, according to Enzo's own attorney's statement, he did not know until this came out on the internet. So the question is,
who's lying?
The question is, you can't prove whether somebody knew something or not. And that's the key, is Enzo and his attorney say that he didn't know anything until it came out publicly. If WWE didn't believe that, and they believe that he didn't know and didn't tell them, they could have just said, hey, he said he doesn't know. We don't believe that he didn't know. We don't believe that such an investigation could go on for that long without him being contacted by the police. We don't believe that he didn't know, and we choose to fire him. So be it. But Enzo, it's a he said, she said.
Yeah, but we don't know what Enzo said. For all we know, Enzo's the one that told them, yeah, I knew I was under investigation. You're like, wait, you knew and you didn't tell us? All right, you're fired.
Well, right now, he just clearly said in an attorney statement that he did not know. And I don't think his attorney would put that statement out if that were not the case. Because otherwise, WWE, to protect their own reputation, is just going to come out and contradict his ass.
They might do that.
Yeah, except because realize if he's coming out and claiming, until this happened, I did not know that I was under investigation. If that is the case, that gives Enzo ammo for a wrongful termination lawsuit against the WWE.
Well, we'll see if WWE responds or not. Because if they come out and say, yeah, that's a load of bullshit because he told us directly that he knew beforehand, it's the whole reason we fired him.
That's a whole different ballgame. But as of right now, all we know is he's claiming that he didn't know until the public accusations hit the internet.
And I will tell you right now, if they try to do a wrongful termination lawsuit, which I don't think Enzo would because he seems to be kind of at peace at the moment. Mm-hmm. But if they did that, they wouldn't win because Enzo doesn't have the money that Vince McMahon has. Vince McMahon, as he pointed out, will put a B next to Enzo's name.
Mm-hmm.
Or he'll prove Enzo wrong, one of the two.
Right, but Vince has to realize that, Enzo is the master of one thing that WWE hates.
What's that?
Enzo, as he likes to remind us, has the gift of gab. He smack talk a Skywalker, and he's got a microphone lightsaber for a hater. The fact is, WWE would win a legal battle could try to bankrupt Enzo in a legal battle. But not before Enzo drug the entire thing through every piece of press and media he could get his hands on and threw WWE's reputation directly into the toilet.
See, I don't know.
And if there's one thing Vince McMahon hates above all else except maybe steroid trials, it's bad press.
Yeah, but I don't know that Enzo would be able to do that, to be honest. And like I said, it depends on where the truth lies. Because if Enzo did, in fact, say that, and that is the reason that they fired him, it's like, well, so WWE fired you for lying, even though you didn't know, but that in of itself was a lie, so they have grounds to fire you because you still fucking lied to them. Enzo's not winning this one way or another. He lied. He either lied about lying, or he either lied about lying, or he lied to his attorney about not knowing about it. Like, despite what the dates say, he obviously knew about it. So he lied about something. The question is, what did he lie about? Right now, with the contradictory reports, the truth here is, and the fact is, Enzo is a liar. Enzo Moira is a liar. He lied about something. The question is, what did he lie about? Because both the WWE and his lawyer cannot be telling the truth. It's a physical impossibility. And I don't think either of them would lie about what they've said, which means the party that has to be the liar here is Enzo Amore.
I don't know. I mean, and now it's going to be the question, because if Enzo and his attorney are in fact telling him the truth, and Enzo told WWE, I didn't know about this, and they chose not to believe him, that's on WWE. If they thought he was lying, but it turned out he wasn't, that's on WWE. Now, there may not be legal grounds on that, because there's probably a clause in the contract where WWE has a good faith thing where if they truly this happened, they have a right to fire him, which is fine. And truth be told, given that Vince does have a B next to his name, he'd be much more likely to just pay Enzo off than actually take it to court.
Potentially.
No, they've done that on a number of occasions, with superstars suing them for this, that, or the other thing.
Mm.
It's kind of a standard thing. But Enzo's not guaranteed to be a liar. It depends on the conversation had with WWE. And the thing is, unless they both sign something, you're not going to prove one way or another. Because it's a he said, she said. You're not going to be able to prove it one way or another.
That is true.
So I guess we'll see if anything else.
Which if that's the case, if the bottom line is you're not going to be able to prove one way or another, then it's pointless for Enzo to even try, because he's not going to be able to prove it. Right? Yeah. By what you said, and I completely agree with that. Yeah, at this point it becomes a he said, she said, unless they have like video or some shit.
That's what I'm saying. Unless there's some kind of a recorded conversation that they had, or some kind of like signed documentation regarding his release, we won't know. Like if Enzo has a letter from WWE saying, Mr. Art, we are terminating your release because of such and such reason, and such because you lied to us. And Enzo and his attorney can in some way prove that he was not because if WWE has like signed something in the termination saying we're terminating you because you lied to us, but Enzo can get a letter from the Phoenix police saying at no point did we contact or inform Mr. Art of our investigation prior to his attorney contacting us, WWE is then legally fucked.
No, just because the police didn't tell Enzo doesn't mean he didn't know. That's the thing. Everyone's making the assumption of because the police didn't notify Enzo this was happening that he didn't know. Who's to say he didn't know despite the fact the police didn't tell him? You can't make that assumption.
How would he know?
It's fucking Enzo Amore. He's with the shit that he does and the connections he has. Come on, man. He's a street boy. You're telling me a street boy wouldn't be able to find that shit out before the cops tell him? Come on, man. Don't be that dumb.
But what inclination would he have to find anything out if he didn't know he was under investigation?
Who said he's the one that found it out? Maybe his boys came to him and said, yo, Eric, yeah, you know that bitch you met? Yeah, she gonna try to fuck your shit up, bro. She got the police in on this.
It's possible, but the question is who he knew and exactly happened. Because remember, that was in Phoenix. His backyard is Jersey. We don't know what boys he has in Phoenix and who he was hanging out with.
That is true. But see, that's the other thing is, in the exit interview, if you will, with WWE, he could have said with a straight face, with all truth, that he knew that there was a police investigation going on, But he'd said it without realizing he probably shouldn't have said that.
That is possible.
And there's no way to prove it. You cannot prove. Otherwise, all you can prove is that the police were not involved until this date. But that doesn't prove a damn thing. That does not prove that he did not say, I knew about this. That's where they're going to come into. If the judge is worth anything, he's going to say, okay, so we're going to throw that out because that's worthless. So do you have any actual proof that with what he said and when he said it? And I don't think either people would, unless Enzo, when talking to WWE, I assume he went to the offices, happened to be in a room with a security camera and they happened to have that footage.
Which is fair, but you have to realize one thing, though.
What's that?
I mean, it wouldn't necessarily be a criminal case. It would be, a civil case, a contract case.
Yes.
In that instance, if if I understand law correctly, if Enzo files a lawsuit and basically says, look, I say I did not know that this investigation was happening until they went public. I didn't know about this. If he could get evidence from the Phoenix police saying at no point did we contact him about this, that at least proves that the police didn't tell him about it. Unless the burden of proof falls on WWE to prove that, it falls on their burden of proof. Because if they file suit saying, hey, I did not say this, and it's made based on information I did not give you, the burden of proof falls on WWE to prove that he did. If WWE cannot prove that he did, then Enzo is, presumed to be in the right until proven otherwise.
Right, but if whoever did the exit interview with Enzo that talked to him, if they put them on the stand and testify under oath that this is what Enzo Amore said, it's like, I have no physical proof of it. The proof is that I was in the room with him. I'm the one that spoke to him. And yes, I will testify under oath that this is what he said.
Yes, if WWE has people willing to testify, then that's going to be the counter evidence, and that that could reach a stalemate because of the two situations, which is fair enough.
Because I don't see WWE putting someone on the stand and telling them to outright lie. That just doesn't seem like something they would do.
No, it doesn't, but you're assuming there was any kind of an exit interview. I remind you of WWE's previous penchant for firing people they don't like, which includes but is not limited to FedExing them termination papers on their wedding day.
Right. Well, I would have to assume that there was some conversation that took place, even if it wasn't an exit interview, where Enzo admitted that he knew about it. If this is all true, if the reason they fired him is correct, that he knew about the investigation and didn't tell them, at some point he had to have told somebody, and that somebody had to have had connections in the upper echelon of WWE or was one of the officers. Right. Ergo, somebody there had to have spoken to Enzo and would therefore be able to testify of what he said.
Right.
Because I refuse to believe that WWE would just fucking fire him without even talking to him. That seems ludicrous to me. Not even Vince McMahon is that bad of a businessman. He's not fucking Eric Bischoff. Come on.
True.
That seems like something Bischoff would do. Like when he fucking fired Stone Cold via FedEx. Like he didn't have the balls to even talk to Steve.
I again remind you, Vince McMahon fired CM Punk by FedExing him termination papers on his wedding day.
Yeah, but that's slightly different because CM Punk was like talking shit and stuff. Austin wasn't saying anything. He was just being the good worker and wrestling and blah, blah, blah. And fucking, he just decided to fire him. Whereas with Punk, he kind of had it coming. They kind of had reason to terminate his ass with the shit he was doing and the shit he was saying. And that's the difference. Is like, at that point, you don't have to talk to the guy because he's doing all the talking. And it's like, well, there's our proof right there. Can his ass. They kind of don't need more than that. Whereas with Austin, there was, from what I understand, really no reason to fire him. Aside from, Bischoff just didn't want him there or like didn't think he was going to go anywhere. So it's like, yeah, no, don't need you. Don't want you. And Bischoff himself even admitted, yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that. But with something as serious as this, I fail to believe that WWE would not have talked to Enzo before firing him. To at least give him the benefit of the doubt. Because I will say this about WWE, if nothing else, they stand by their superstars until such time as they are proven guilty. Because like even the Rich Swann thing, it was like they didn't fire him, they suspended him, and then he asked for his release, I believe, and it was like a mutual thing. It's not we're firing you because you know you potentially being charged with this. It's we're suspending you until we hear what's going on. And Rich Swann was like, yeah, that's not fair to either one of us. I think I should probably leave. And they're like, well, that's up to you. We'll support that. Because WWE didn't do that shit. But if you give them a reason to fire you, they'll fire you. So despite the fact that nobody liked Enzo, he was kind of a jack-off, and he had a lot of heat, you know, backstage and with the higher-ups. I just don't see WWE firing him just because they don't like him. I see them using another reason to fire him because they don't like him. Like, you know, oh, you were under investigation and you knew about it, you didn't tell us. Well, that's ground for firing. Like, you know, I see them taking another grounds for firing at the opportunity to get rid of him because they don't like him. But I don't see them like completely manufacturing that reason and lying about it just to have a reason to fire him because they don't like him. That seems kind of petty. And yes, I know WWE and Vince can be petty, but I don't see him being that petty. Because if they were that petty, they would have fired him the minute that news broke. But they said, no, you know what? Innocent until proven guilty. You're under investigation. That's fair. We can't have you on the roster because that would look bad for us. So we're going to suspend you. And if it comes out you're innocent, put you back on the roster. I don't know. Maybe I'm putting too much stock in WWE. What's your opinion on that?
Listen, I would imagine you're probably right. I would imagine somebody spoke to Enzo in some way, but the question is, who spoke to him and what was said? That's the question.
Right. And obviously, enough was said that they decided, oh, we got to fire his ass.
Yes, but as was mentioned, he was like the least liked person in the company and was already on like the last strike anyway with shit that was going on. And if they just flat out refuse to believe, you know, you've been involved for months in our investigation for this, there's no way you didn't know, regardless of what you're telling us.
I will also say this, though, that strengthens WWE's case, at least in logic.
Mm-hmm.
While they might not have liked him, WWE, I guarantee you, saw Enzo's value. Enzo was one of their moneymakers. Because especially in the recent days when he became Cruiserweight title, and even before that, he was like a huge fan favorite, but when he got the Cruiserweight title, he got super huge. His merch was like flying off the fucking shelves and shit. He was one of the like top 5 merch sellers in WWE at the time. I don't think they would jeopardize that for, oh, we don't like your ass, so therefore we're giving up one of our top 5 merch sellers. No, Vince McMahon, in my opinion, is willing to put up with bullshit and willing to put up with not liking your ass if you're lining his fucking wallet. Because Vince McMahon will never turn down truckloads of money. I present to you the greatest Royal Rumble as proof.
Well, who knows?
So with how much money Enzo was making for them, despite their personal feelings for him and despite the fact that he wasn't much liked, I really, really fail to see WWE pulling the trigger to fire him for something so fucking petty at the cost of their bottom line. I just don't. In my opinion, it costs them too much on their bottom line to do something that boneheaded just because they don't like the guy.
I don't know.
Well, you do agree Enzo was one of like at least the top 5 merch sellers, right? At the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was pushing merch. Nobody doubts that fact. But at what cost?
I don't know. I just don't think they would have fired him unless they had a real reason to do it. But maybe that's just me.
Well, I don't know.
But on the flip side, I hear TNA's hiring.
Probably.
Oh, they are. Don Callis has already invited him.
Okay.
For the most part. He put out a statement saying, we're always open to bringing in new talent and reinvigorating, existing talent and stuff like that. And, only thing is we want to make sure that the talent that coming in will work with what we're trying to do, which is his way of saying we're not opposed to Enzo Amore coming in if he wants to come back to wrestling. We will work with him, but we'll only bring him in if he fits within our scope of things, like whatever storylines they're trying to run and stuff. So TNA has left the door open for Enzo Amore should he desire to return to wrestling. Now, a lot of people are speculating that with the statement, I believe it was the very end of the statement that his lawyer made saying that Mr. Arndt is going to reconnect with his fans in a big way or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
People are speculating that can mean that Enzo might actually try to jumpstart that rap career he had been talking about.
I can see it.
I can see that as well. But anyway, you still awake over there?
Yep.
All right. Roll the wheel.
Hang on a second. I've got some other details. Let's see. Russia is actually public. A letter from Enzo's attorney claimed that Enzo was not aware of the accusations beforehand until Sheehan's post on Twitter. Sheehan had made some conflicting statements regarding the incident. A former friend of Sheehan, Sam Cooke, shared a group text exchange from the night of the alleged rape incident where she confirmed having sex with Arndt, but seemed to suggest that it was consensual. Sheehan responded by stating that those texts were completely out of context, quote unquote. She responded to the charges against Enzo being dropped, saying, "There are no words to describe what this feels like, to know that my rapist is walking away from this free of charges and will continue to be a part of society today. I have said this many times and I will say it again. I did this for sexual assault survivors, victims who did not or do not have the courage to speak up about their stories. For those who feared for their lives and knew that if they spoke up they would be killed. For those whose assailant was a family member. For those who were set up to be assaulted. No matter the differences in our stories, we are one and the same. I did this in hopes that by coming out about what happened to me on October 19th, 2017, and the correct legal measures taken, that my story may end in a little bit of hope with my assailant being prosecuted. To my disbelief and complete misfortune, this did not happen. I was so mentally shaken up in every way possible after the night that it happened that I waited 4 days to report it to the police. Hence, the DNA samples taken were 4 days old and would have had to survive a shower and regular visits to the bathroom. That is where I messed up in this process, but I don't blame myself. I have been told that I did this for money, fame, out of spite, and to those that believe these things, all I can say is you are very wrong. I am a different person today. I used to have anxiety, but since the incident, it has escalated to a much higher level. I have frequent panic attacks. I rarely can handle any interaction with men. I wake up most nights in a complete panic and have to use coping mechanisms to relieve the emotions. I have PTSD, and it shows itself in variation of ways. I'm married to a woman named Depression, and she is my lover. People get jealous and frustrated because she gets all of me. Most days we just lay in bed and refuse to get up. She takes from the quality of my life, and tonight she was begging me to self-harm. I have been hiding from my phone all day, dodging the hate, but when I came home, it was overwhelming. I wanted nothing more than that release. My favorite coping mechanism is writing, so I decided to share an up-to-date side of my story. Eric Arndt is not innocent, and I am a survivor, capital letters.
Victim card. Well, all right then.
Yeah, there's pretty much nobody on the internet believes her.
Like I said, victim card.
Mm-hmm. So. So we will wait and see if there's any follow-up on that story down the line. In the meantime, let's see here. All right. Oops. All right. Anyway, let's go ahead and see what we got next. Spin of the wheel.
Spinny, spinny.
It's number one. All right. Speaking of controversial figures not currently employed by the WWE,
Mm-hmm.
there's been a lot of talk about this going around.
Okay.
Now, let's see here. Amid recent reports, the Hulk Hogan's probably coming back. Amid the recent reports of Hogan nearing a WWE return, the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, so again, Meltzer, grain of salt, suggests that the wording of WWE's public statement on the matter, Hogan is not currently under contract in WWE, pretty much tells everyone they are close to an agreement. If and likely when Hogan does return, it remains to be seen in what capacity. Reports suggest he will actually get in the ring and wrestle, but he is 65 years old, and WWE has already seen what's happened to Jerry Lawler and Ricky Steamboat in the past. Was worth noting Hogan was also purportedly asked for by the Saudi royals, but unfortunately they were not able to get him for that event.
Fair.
Or chose not to get him for that event, one of the two.
Fair.
Hogan spoke with the folks at the Buffalo News on Tuesday to promote an upcoming autograph signing in the area. During the interview, he addressed fans who were still upset with him over his racially insensitive comments, adding that people know me. I'm a human being like anybody else, and sometimes people make mistakes. When they do, you watch that person a little bit more closely than you did before to see what kind of person they really are. I just want people to judge me by my actions, not a few misspoken words. To those few fans who feel hurt, I'm forever sorry, and I'll do whatever I can to make them feel comfortable with me. Regarding his WWE comeback status, Hogan said, until you hit a home run, it's not a home run. All these things say it's imminent or rumors. That's like saying maybe, possibly, could be. Until I'm back home with the WWE, I'm not home. Hopefully someday I can go back home and be with my family, the wrestlers, and all the people I love. I just really, really hope it happens, brother. He didn't say brother, I just added that.
Brother.
So.
Yep.
So perhaps Hogan will be back soon. We will see.
We'll see.
Wheel. Number 9. This is just unfortunate.
Okay.
For a number of reasons.
Okay.
I have not heard of this former superstar.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of Tom McGee?
Okay.
That a yes or a no?
Tom McGee? No.
Yeah. Well, Tom McGee is a former Canadian world champion powerlifter and strongman from Winnipeg, but also had a short career with the WWE, then F, between 1986 and 1990.
Okay, then.
He was signed shortly after powerlifting. It's worth noting that he does hold a pinfall victory over Bret Hart.
Okay.
From the October 7th, 1986 television taping in Rochester, New York.
Okay.
He began wrestling on C-level house shows against the likes of Terry Gibbs, Barry O, and Frenchie Martin. They gradually cooled on him, and unfortunately, he was a bit overshadowed because that was in October that he debuted. But unfortunately, on June 17th of the following year in '87, that's 2 months after I was born, by the way. They hired another young bodybuilder to the company who gained a little bit more attention.
Mm-hmm.
He made his debut in Wichita Falls on June 17th.
Okay.
You may or may not have heard of him.
Okay.
He was a man born under the name Jim Hellwig.
Sounds familiar.
Who entered the company under the name the Dingo Warrior, but would eventually become known as the Ultimate Warrior.
Ah, yes.
Or later on, just Warrior.
What was this guy's name?
This guy's name was Tom McGee.
Magee.
Correct, sir. He would only be seen sporadically afterwards, wrestled a handful of Canadian house shows, defeating Iron Mike Sharp. He faced Arn Anderson at Superstars of Wrestling in Daytona Beach, Florida, winning via a countout. Made a heel turn in the spring of '89 as Mega Man McGee.
Okay, then.
In April, he was managed by Jimmy Hart at a Superstars of Wrestling taping and faced Tim Horner in a series of house shows. And his final match came in a joint WWF Arena Wrestling Alliance tour in New Zealand, where he defeated Royal Viking in multiple encounters. So, not a very long or prestigious career, but he did work for WWE for a while.
Mm-hmm. It's also been managed by Jimmy Hart.
Yeah, I mentioned that.
Okay, I missed that part.
The unfortunate thing is that Mr. McGee, who is now 60 years old, was savagely beaten by 6 dudes in a parking lot.
Okay, then.
Apparently in a dispute over a parking space.
Okay.
According to a report by CBSLocal.com.
Okay, then.
Who were covering this. CBS Los Angeles, specifically.
Hmm.
It apparently began over a parking dispute. Apparently he was beaten in front of his Mar Vista home on Tuesday, apparently.
Okay, then.
He had a really good look. Anyway, as many as 6 young men beat him. Hallstrom said his blood is still visible on the sidewalk. There's a YouTube video of this, because of course there is.
Wow, someone actually recorded it?
Shows him, let's see. Oh, sorry. No, the YouTube video shows him back when he weighed 265 and wrestled in the WWE. Sorry, I didn't read that whole thing.
Fair.
The true Goliath in the ring, he became a neighborhood watchdog later on. He came and encountered the young man, and it proceeded to a fight. McGee suffered a broken jaw, a broken eye socket, and a concussion.
Wow.
It was a sort of conflict over who was allowed to park in this spot. A neighbor who was a witness but didn't want to show her face on camera described the horrendous scene, saying they were literally kicking him, punching him in the face and in the head. 6 men were involved in the attack, and when neighbors came to see what was going on, the men took off. When they rushed over to McGee, he was incoherent. To me, it was attempted murder. If we couldn't have come out here, I don't know if he would be alive. To look at his face, if you saw his face right now and saw what they were doing to him, he's really lucky to be alive, the neighbor said. LAPD robbery detectives are investigating. On Thursday afternoon, 2 of the men were taken into custody. They were identified as Justin Lee, 20, and DeGrate Bryant, also 20, or DeGrate Bryant, something like that. And both of them booked on charges of assault with a deadly weapon. But McGee has a long road to recovery ahead, but he is out of the hospital and recovering at home.
Congratulations, boys. You ganged up on a 60-year-old man for parking in front of his own house. You go fuck yourselves.
Pretty much.
Or, as our favorite YouTube would say, fuck you, jail.
Yeah. Basically.
And it seriously begs the question, what the fuck is wrong with kids? What the hell? It was in front of house. It was his parking spot. What the shit? Let the man park in front of his own house. Come on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Or if you really desperately needed to park on that side, you could have asked him to park in his driveway. I assume he had a driveway. He probably would have said yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know.
You didn't have to beat his ass. What the fuck? Also, you're lucky he wasn't in his prime, because if he was in his prime, he probably would have whooped all your asses.
Probably. But if he was in his prime and looked like that, they probably wouldn't have challenged him.
I don't know. These kids seem pretty stupid.
Maybe.
Also, they were 6 deep. They probably would have gotten cocky.
Maybe. Let me just ask you a question, and let's just do this real quick here.
Okay.
Let me get this up here. Let me just ask you a base question. Let me put this up real fast. Would you walk up, even if there were 6 of you, would you walk up and challenge this dude to a fight?
One-on-one, no, but 6 deep, depending on what shape we're in, possibly. Because at the end of the day, he's one dude against 6.
Well,
I still say he would have whooped their asses, but at that age, I could see them being cocky enough, being like, "You're one guy against 6. We don't care what you look like. We don't care how strong you are. We're 6 people."
Mm. Yeesh.
Yeah. But yeah, no, this is not a guy you want to fuck with when he can deadlift 1.1 tons.
Yeah.
It's like, well, partial deadlift, but it's still 18 inches off the floor. You don't want to fuck with someone that strong.
Yeah, probably not.
But you can't. But if you looked at that guy, would you think he'd be able to partial deadlift 1.1 tons?
No.
Exactly. They'd probably be like, okay, you're probably some muscle-bound dude. So you may be strong, but we don't know if you can fight. They probably wouldn't have known he was actually a wrestler, too, so he could probably fight. And they would have got pasted. But I could see them be cocky enough, rolling in 6 deep, to actually try to fight him.
Yeah. But as a counterpoint, here's the problem.
Yeah?
He doesn't look like that anymore, as was mentioned.
Right.
Now after the beating, he looks like this.
Ouch. Oh, yeah. He lost a lot most of the time, but that's probably getting older and just not keeping up with the workouts. No reason to.
Yeah. But yeah, he got beat. Anyway.
I hope they get the book thrown at them.
I hope so. We wish Mr. McGee a speedy recovery so he can get back to his neighborhood watch duties.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, positively.
I wonder if WWE will even mention this on Raw.
I doubt it. He wasn't really well known enough for that. If he had died, yeah, they'd bring it up. But otherwise, no.
No, okay.
Meantime, let's go to the wheel.
Sure.
Number 10. Yeah, this is interesting.
Okay.
I'm interested in this, but not to the point that I'm going to go through the effort required to watch it.
Okay.
So, Dallas and Robo.
Okay.
YouTube Red has released a trailer for the upcoming original series, Dallas and Robo.
Mm-hmm.
starring Kat Dennings and John Cena.
Okay.
It's produced by Shadow Machine, the award-winning production company behind BoJack Horseman.
Okay.
The series stars Kat Dennings and John Cena. Guest voices will include Jane Lynch, Giancarlo Esposito, Taron Killam, Clancy Brown, Nat Faxon, Dana Snyder, Brie Williamson, and Milena Vantrub. Series was created by Mike Roberts of BoJack Horseman and Final Space.
Okay, then.
The 8-episode buddy comedy follows sassy space trucker Dallas, voiced by Kat Dennings, and cowboy hat-wearing AI robot Robo, voiced by John Cena, as they try and make a few dollars in the seedy world of interplanetary big rigging.
John Cena is going to play a country trucker robot?
Yes.
Okay.
Interplanetary big rigging while navigating their way through cannibal bikers, rival space truckers, and vending machine burritos.
No offense to Cena and whatever acting ability he may have. I don't see a Massachusetts boy being able to pull off fucking cowboy trucker robot.
Well, he's not trying to sound like, he's just trying to sound like the robot part.
But if he's supposed to be a cowboy, if he's supposed to be wearing like a cowboy hat and shit, he should sound like a cowboy.
You would think.
Otherwise, what's the point?
And it actually works. I'll give you, when we're done with this, I will give you the link to the trailer.
Okay.
The 8-episode buddy comedy will launch on May 30th on the WWE YouTube channel, with all episodes available to binge at that time via YouTube Red.
Okay, then.
So we'll get back to that.
Fair.
Indeed. So,
yes.
Wheel.
Yes.
Going to number 5. Speaking of things that are on YouTube, this is kind of cool if you happen to be a fan.
Okay.
I thought it was worth mentioning here. We'll cover this. So let me scroll. Let me scroll. Thank you. So, we have some interesting news for people who are interested in keeping track of former WWE Raw Tag Team Champions. Because you can now find WWE-related videos on the official YouTube channel of Nicholas.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Really?
Yes. You can follow him on Twitter at WWE Just Nicholas.
Okay.
And you can go check out his YouTube channel, on which he has a series of a couple of WWE-related videos that are going up. One is him, quote-unquote, unboxing. It's more of an unbagging of his official, Nicholas Braun Strowman T-shirt that they sent him.
Okay.
You know, the one that they had that one night on Raw.
Yeah.
So it's him unboxing that, and then also a video of him, what appears to be doing an unboxing, or at least a video about Mattel's WWE WrestleMania ring.
You know, I'm very surprised. WWE has bucked tradition yet again.
Okay.
Well, think about it. Nicholas is officially, in the record books, a former WWE Tag Team Champion. What does WWE usually do for their former champions?
I don't know.
Usually give them a belt.
Oh, they gave him one.
Are you sure?
Yes.
How do you know this?
Well, I would think they gave him one. Why wouldn't they?
I would think so too, but when you said like they unboxed like the T-shirt they gave him, I would think he would put up on there the unboxing of the belt arriving at his house, because I would imagine they mailed it to him.
Yeah. Well, you can find his YouTube channel is also WWE Just Nicholas, so go check that out.
Yeah, give the kid a belt.
Braun Strowman Get These Hands shirt. I think it's worth noting that video has 1,700 views, so he's getting a little bit of attention.
course.
So you can definitely go check out all the stuff on his channel there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the shirts, Don't Even Tell Us, WWE WrestleMania ring, Braun Strowman, Sheamus, and Cesaro. Wait, did they really do that? Okay, that's interesting. I was unaware that was a thing. Apparently, they put Thanos in Fortnite.
Yes, technically, they put the Infinity Gauntlet in Fortnite, and if you pick up the Infinity Gauntlet, you become Thanos.
Fair enough. Yeah, Nicholas has some videos of him trying to do that.
Yes. So basically, Fortnite has now become Race to the Infinity Gauntlet, which apparently comes pre-equipped with all 6 Infinity Stones.
Oh, and if you want to go download them, apparently you can also see the video here of the custom Nicholas in 2K18.
Fair. Who made it? Did he make it?
I don't know. It just says custom Nicholas WWE 2K18.
Fair.
So yeah, definitely go check out Nicholas's YouTube channel. Looks like he's reviewing toys and other such things.
Fair.
Good things.
We wish you well in your future endeavors.
Yeah, you go, Nicholas. You're the man. Or the kid.
And you'll always be able to say former WWE Raw Tag Team Champion.
It's true.
Be the envy of everyone at your school. I'm sure you are, actually.
Pretty much. Move on. We got 4 left.
Am I the only one who now wants to see him just basically strut into his school with the actual tag team title over his shoulder, assuming WWE gave him one?
I don't see why they wouldn't give him one. It's not like it would cost him that much.
True.
And it's not like that's going to a good cause. His dad's a ref. They know his dad.
That is true. I still would want to see a video of him just walking into the school with shades on, with that Get These Hands t-shirt and the belt over his shoulder.
Fair enough. Anyway, number 4.
Okay.
All right, I guess we'll dig into this.
Yes.
I guess this is a regular thing now, but on Monday morning, John Cena once again co-hosted the Today Show.
Yes, he did.
And during the show, the obvious topic of his breakup with Nikki was discussed, and when asked by Kathy Lee and Hoda about his relationship, he claimed to have got his heart broken out of nowhere with the breakup, but said he's leaving the door open for them to get back together in the future, adding, "I still love Nicole. I would still love to marry Nicole. I would still love to have a family with Nicole. I don't want anybody else," Cena added. "I love Nicole, and I'm really trying to support her and trying to find whatever it is that she wants that made this fall apart in the first place. And in doing so, I'm also just trying to live. He concluded, I don't have any other hopes other than maybe that one day we could work it out."
You didn't see the video, did you?
Nope.
This is what made me completely fucking facepalm.
Okay.
Why people are like, "Oh, is this a work?" Because literally they asked him about it, and he started talking about it kind of somewhat seriously, somewhat just as John Cena. And then all of a sudden a switch turned. He looked dead straight at the camera, and proceeded to cut a promo on love.
Okay, then.
I'm like, fucking, are you serious, Cena? Are you really cutting a promo on love right now? Are you fucking doing this on the Today Show, really, Cena? And at the exact same time this was happening, there was another interview going on with the Bella Twins, who were they were asked about this too.
We're gonna get there. Give me a sec.
They hawked their show. So the fact that those two went on at the same time, and Cena literally turned around, looked dead in the camera, and cut a promo on love, people are like, "Wait, was the majority of their relationship just a work for the reality TV show?"
Well, let's keep following.
Because this is a little too coincidental that both of these happened at the same time, and Cena cut a fucking wrestling promo on love. It's like, really? Fucking really?
So,
unbelievable.
Yeah. Nikki, who was attending the NBC upfront along with her sister Brie, was interviewed and seemed surprised to hear the comments when a reporter read them to her. Wow, said a legitimately surprised-looking Nikki Bella. Well, I'm speechless. Nikki proceeded to laugh nervously before continuing, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. They also spoke about the upcoming season of Total Bellas on E, claiming it will be the best season of the show so far. Spoke about the season, including the long-awaited WWE comeback of Daniel Bryan, as well as the wedding planning and eventual issues between Nikki and Cena. Saying, I'm at a point in my life where I feel like I kind of lost me, and I want to go find me and work on me. Said Nikki of the breakup. I just want John and I both to live happily ever after, whether it's together or separate. She continued, I just don't want us to go down the road in life and have regrets, so I think it's okay in relationships to take that moment. The day I say my vows, I want to say them once, and I want to fully mean them. That's what made me hesitant, if I'm ready to say these vows. There are just some of us we hope in the end it can work out, and I just think the most important part is you want to make sure you live the rest of your life happy. You don't want people to force things or have to change themselves so much. So those are the things we're just stepping away and seeing what we both really want out of life, and when we come back together, we will make us happy for the rest of our lives. We both don't want to live in regret, so we're being very mature, which is great. So we'll see.
Which is hilarious because she's the one that pushed for the wedding. John Cena, from all the reports, is the one that was kind of hesitant. He's the one that really didn't really want to get married after the whole debacle with his ex-wife and stuff. She's the one that pushed for it, and now she's turning around and saying, whoa, I don't know if I want to do this. You're the one that asked for it. Unbelievable. Like, if that's true, if what she said is true, if I was Cena, I would run. I would run as far away as you can. I'm sorry. If a chick is going to ask me to marry and push me to marry and then turn around and be like, I don't know if I want to do this, I'd be like, we're done. That's it. I'd be like, if you're going to tell me you want to get married and then turn around and say, I don't know if I want to do this, I'm be like, well, how can I trust you? How can I trust what you're saying? How do I know, what it is you really want when you say one thing and then when we go to do it, you turn around and say something else? No, I'm not going through my life doing that. I would run as far away as possible from that person. That's a huge red flag to me. And I'm no expert in relationships. Obviously, I don't have one, but to me, that'd be a red flag. I don't know what you think about that. You have a little more experience in that department than I do, Jim.
Insert the Spice Girls, tell me what you want here.
Exactly. Thank you. It's like, oh boy, Nikki, that one comment, you just made Cena look like a saint.
Anyway, John Cena again hosted the Today Show on Tuesday and replied.
Okay.
And saying, first, I want to thank you ladies for always having me on, giving me a chance to be able to be honest, and I think that's important. I don't know if people understand how difficult it is to lead a life in the public eye. I'm grateful, but I'm also respectful of everyone's opinions on what happened yesterday. I did what I did yesterday for one person and one person only. It's because I love her, and I think in times of separation, often we speculate on what the other person is doing, and sometimes communication can get messed up. And this is something that people don't necessarily understand. When you live life in the public, sometimes if you do something in private and then you do something different in public, that person can be like, well, you treat me two different ways. So it was very important for me to be honest with myself, with you, with all of you, because then that allows me to be honest with Nicole. I don't care about being viral. I don't care about anyone's comments, although I'm grateful for all that. I care about one person. One person. Hoda also brought up Nikki being Red Cena's comments on yesterday's episode and how she was speechless and claimed she still loved him. Cena replied, I have never regretted one single moment that I've been with Nicole. It has been a constant learning experience. If you look at me in 2012 and you look at me sitting right here, it's a learning experience and what I'm grateful for. Like I said yesterday, if I never have another second, the time I had was so special, and yesterday was even like a top to the top. I learned so much from yesterday just by being able to be comfortable with who I am and being honest in public. That's such a liberating thing. Regarding Nikki's comments, he added, I saw some of the comments that she made, and I think, like I said, she's searching for something. I know I can't force her to find it, but I don't want this to fall apart because of speculation of, I think he's doing this or I think he feels this way, Cena added. Here are my cards. They are on the table. We'll figure out where it goes.
We'll have to see where this goes, but this almost reeks of work, to be honest. I don't know if you think that, but this to me almost stinks of work. The way this is going on, the back and forth.
A little bit.
And again, the fact that John Cena cut a goddamn promo on Love. Come on, man. Come on. Someone truly in love doesn't cut a goddamn wrestling promo on it. What the shit, dude? And again, red flag, man. Red flag.
Well, potential insight into this, a trailer was released for Total Bellas returning to the E! Network tomorrow night.
Of course it was, because they had all this press go out in the last 2 days, and now they're capitalizing off that because they planned all this, and now they're putting out the trailer. Because all this shit is going to spike their ratings. That's the entire point.
In the clip, Brie gets real with her twin sister Nikki, explaining how she sees things in terms of the relationship, saying, sometimes you tiptoe around John to not make him angry, and I think that's bullshit. I tell Brian exactly how I feel all the time. I don't hold back, ever. You've made a lot of sacrifices, and it's about time John starts making some. He's freaking lucky that he's marrying you, and it bothers me that you're going to sacrifice all of it just because you're grateful that John proposed to you.
And so in doing that, she's turned her twin sister into possibly the biggest hypocrite ever. I'm sorry, that is so hypocritical to all but put Cena into a position where he has no choice but to marry her if he wants to stay with her, and then turn around and be like, maybe that wasn't such a good idea. It's like, what? It's almost like they're creating tension and portraying like Brie Bella, and maybe the Bellas together, but at least Brie Bella as someone who gives zero fucks about how John Cena feels. It's like, you're fucking playing the dude at this point. What the hell? That's not cool. And like I said, this is probably all for ratings. They will probably eventually get married because I have a feeling really, 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 truly they are in love. And they're only holding it off for long distance tension, ratings, and money. Mark my words. You heard it here first.
Okay.
I don't know if you agree with that, but that's just how I feel at the moment based with everything that's happened. What do you think?
Yeah.
And I also have to wonder how much of this is WWE because, Total Bellas is a WWE production. It obviously is. So, which means they probably have some say in the quote-unquote storylines that perpetuate this reality TV show. And given WWE was the one that came up with the idea of, hey, John, you should propose to Nicole at WrestleMania out in the ring. That makes me wonder, is this whole elaborate thing a plan by WWE that they convinced John and Nicole to do? Because it seems a whole lot like a giant wrestling work for ratings. That's what it seems like. And if that's the case, I'd be like, shame on you, WWE, using a real relationship, real love to fucking drive ratings and controversies. Like, no, fuck you. But we'll see. We'll see what comes out. We'll see if things are explained or not. But you're barely talking, Jim. What do you think?
I don't know. But I have one more article.
So you have no opinion about this stuff?
Yeah. We'll see what happens.
Fair. What's the last article?
Well, you see, on Wednesday's episode of the Today Show, the Bella Twins appeared.
Oh, you mean one more article for this topic?
Yes.
Fair. Continue.
The Bella Twins were there to promote the season 3 premiere of Total Bellas on the E! Network this Sunday.
Okay.
As you would expect, Kathy Lee and Hoda asked them about the what was said regarding Cena's appearances earlier in the week. Nikki said, I was so shocked. I was literally in the middle of the red carpet for the NBC Universal upfronts and got the breaking news. You guys know this. John is absolutely an amazing man. He's such a sweetheart, and I truly love him so much. He's my best friend, you know. A lot of us that go through the wedding planning process, we have to kind of face these issues that we have hiding down deep inside, and I just know that a healthy me will be a healthy us. I do have hope for our future, but I know right now I need to work on me before I do say those vows and walk down that aisle. I just don't want to be hesitant. I don't want to be regretful. Nikki continued, I think when you sacrifice for so long and it's like you can give so much and then you kind of get tired of giving and then someone else wants to give it back and you just start to feel exhausted. Brie also chimed in, adding, she's exhausted because she's been in a marriage with me for 34 years and I'm not an easy wife. For me, I love both of them, and I applaud them for putting their relationship out there, which you'll see on this season of Total Bellas. It's really hard when you're filming a reality show, and my sister and I, we're always the type of people who are open books. We have no filters, the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's all going on our show. It just shows everyone out there that you're not alone. Cold Feet really exists. I'm her twin. I have her back. John's my brother. I text him all the time. He was actually my first Mother's Day text I got, so I love him. He's a great man, and I love them both together. I can't wait to see how this all ends. And near the end of the appearance, Nikki was asked outright whether she thinks they'll end up getting back together and added, I definitely have hope. I really do. So there we go. Yeah, it kind of sounds like a work.
Yeah, it sounds like... It literally sounds like a reality TV scripted plot. That's what it sounds like, with fucking wrestling promos thrown in for good measure.
A little bit.
I will say this, and this is just my opinion. Using relationships for plot lines in a reality TV show is okay, but the only ones, in my opinion, that actually work for that are ones where the relationship doesn't work out. Or ones where when the end game comes, there is no cold feet and it's just end game. If you get to the end game and then there's cold feet, but it's obvious these two are in love, then it becomes painfully obvious that this is being done strictly for story and not because this is what's actually happening. And I kind of get that feeling with Cena and Nikki, because you can kind of tell they really do love each other. You can kind of tell that, you know, Brie and Daniel and stuff really do love, you know, Nicole, obviously, and Cena. And so that kind of makes you, and especially with the reports coming out before of Nicole being the one trying to push Cena to marry and stuff like that, which I don't think a lot of that was storyline. I think that was genuinely she wanted him to marry her and she wants kids. I think that much of it was genuine. But when Cena decided, you know what, I am going to ask her to marry me, I think that's when the producers on WWE went, whoa, wait, you're actually going to do it? It's like, well, yeah. It's like, do you mind if we orchestrate this thing and kind of tease it out? And it's like, if I was Cena, I would have said no. I would have said, no, I want to do this on my terms. I'm asking someone to marry me, for God's sake. You know, I would have said, no, I don't want you to use it for a storyline. Now, if you're going to use it for a storyline, have her say yes and actually have us get married straight up. Okay. If you want to film me asking her to marry me and then film the wedding, I'm fine with that. But if you're going to tease it out for a storyline, that's where I would draw the line. Because in my opinion, that shit doesn't work, because then it becomes obvious it's not real.
Mm-hmm.
The reality TV at its best is at its best, in my opinion, when you don't know if it's real.
Mm-hmm.
If you can painfully tell it's not real, then it's shit.
Fair enough.
Because then it ceases being reality and just becomes TV.
Right.
And I feel like that's kind of what they're doing here, where because of the way they've done it, it doesn't feel real. Especially when you can see their body language, hear their voices, look dead in their eyes, and you know the truth. That's when you know it's not real.
Mm.
Because while your words may say one thing, your soul never lies.
True.
And that's what I'm reading from. I'm like, to me, their souls are saying they are in love, they do want to get married, but they're only holding off on it because producers are saying hold off on it.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So that went longer than I wanted to. That got deeper than I wanted to, but that's how I feel about that stuff.
All right. Well, let's move on.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3.
Indeed.
So WWE is holding a UK tournament.
Yes, they are.
And the rosters for said tournament were revealed this week.
Okay.
On Monday afternoon, they released the first half of the roster.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. They announced that the first round of the UK tournament was going to take place at the Download Festival.
Okay.
Let's see. In addition to Superstars of NXT Live and in Action, it takes place June 8th through 10th at Donington Park in Derby, UK. We'll host the opening round of the United Kingdom Championship Tournament, featuring 16 competitors. It'll continue at the London's Royal Albert Hall on Monday, June 18th. The winner of the tournament will then receive a title match against WWE UK champion Pete Dunne the following day.
Right.
Tickets are currently available. Head to downloadfestival.com/tickets to get your tickets for the Download Festival, and bookingsdirect.com and livenation.co.uk for ticket information for the Royal Albert Hall event.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the roster was also revealed this week,
Okay.
as I mentioned. We'll go over here.
Yes.
Nah. Ads.
Fair. Speak.
I am looking. Hang on. So let's see what we got here. They didn't actually give me a list. So let's see here. Let's see. Men competing in the UK tournament here.
Okay.
No, first up, our own, none other than Gentleman Jack Gallagher.
Yes.
We have Big Dave Mastiff.
Okay.
He's a large bearded man. He weighs more than 300 pounds.
Okay then.
He's basically a Brodus Clay style. He moves with the agility of a cruiserweight.
Okay
I
then.
can move. Scottish high flyer Kenny Williams is here.
So he's Braun Strowman?
A little bit.
Fair.
From Leeds, England, we have the English lucha El Ligero,
Okay.
who wears a British mask with some horns on the side.
Okay, then.
And he combines Lucha Libre with a classic British style. Returning is Joseph Connors.
Okay.
He was in the quarterfinals of the original UK tournament.
Mm-hmm. Continue.
Let's see. We have Amir Jordan.
Okay.
He was trained by Lance Storm.
Hmm. Okay.
So that was the first half of the roster, and then the other half is up here.
Okay.
We have Travis Banks, the reigning champion of the London-based Progress Wrestling.
Okay.
We have Flash Morgan Webster.
Okay.
High Flyer with it was adept at submissions.
Okay.
Jordan Devlin of Ireland will be in this.
Okay.
There was some controversy that he advanced despite the fact the guy kicked out because of how close it was. Tucker is in here. He's from Belfast, Northern Ireland.
Okay.
And in a surprising turn of events, despite this being a UK tournament, we're mixing it up a little bit.
Okay.
And representing the United States in the UK tournament
Oh dear.
will be none other than our own Drew Gulak.
Really?
Really?
Arrogant Americans. So if Gulak or Gallagher wins the title, does that mean all the UK people are going to get called up to the main roster?
I don't know.
Since they will no longer have a title to fight for on NXT, because that title will then be on 205 Live and Raw.
I don't know, but
Because Gallagher and Gulak are only on 205 Live and Raw.
True. Although interestingly, Gulak actually put out a tweet about this.
Okay.
Kind of funny. Let me bring it up here. Let's see. At Drew Gulak. He said, it notes here, I was sent on a mission by the U.S. Department for Sports Entertainment Regulation to enter this tournament with the incentive that when I win, the United Kingdom becomes the 51st state of the USA.
Ha! I don't know if that would make things better or worse for the Brits.
I don't know.
But that's hilarious.
Indeed.
That'd be amazing if he won that and that became his new gimmick. The mayor of the or governor of the 51st state of the United States of America.
There you go.
Governor Gulak. I mean, that's kind of half his gimmick already.
Yeah.
They should do that and turn him into the next JBL, albeit less douchey, because I don't think Gulak really is a douche in real life like JBL.
Mm-hmm.
And they should give him like a fucking cabinet and shit.
There you go. I do like somebody in the reply just kept it honest. It was like, Incorrect. You were sent by WWE because they were a man short and thought, fuck it, just put that Drew guy in.
Except this isn't everyone in the tournament. This is just half of them, isn't it?
No, because I did the first half of the first half, then I broke and went to the second half.
Ah, fair. Okay.
I apologize. Yeah, there was a discrepancy there. Anyway, Drew Gulak.
Yeah.
Ashton Smith of England.
Mm-hmm.
He's an athletic brawler. He has a big soccer background. Rounding out the final 8 are 2 more guys from the original tournament. One is Blackpool's James Drake.
Mm-hmm.
He has a unique hybrid flying and brawling style. And lastly is Tyson T-Bone.
Fair.
Bare knuckle brawler inside the ring.
You know what they should have done if they wanted to introduce a little controversy in this? They should have put Drew McIntyre in the tournament.
There you go.
Because, come on, how much outrage would there be in England if a Scotsman won the UK title?
Mm-hmm. Well, they already got one Scotsman in there.
They do?
Yep.
Who's in there?
I don't remember the dude's name.
Fair. Must have missed when you said he was from Scotland, but...
Let's see here. UK tournament champ. Let's see. Yes, let's see here. Wait, is this?
Let's see. I would say the guy who put out that tweet about Gulak is wholly incorrect, because if they really needed to fill a spot, they had 2 very able superstars who kind of aren't doing it. Well, one's doing more than the other, but that they could have sent in. McIntyre was one. The other is Finn Balor.
Fair enough. But anyway, yeah, they have both Joe Coffey and Kenny Williams, who are both from Glasgow, Scotland.
Fair enough. But yeah, either one of them could have filled a spot if they needed to fill a spot.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's be honest, Finn is doing fuck all right now.
Mm-hmm.
Although he is preparing for Money in the Bank, but still.
Right.
And McIntyre is just getting dragged down by Dolph Ziggler, so he's doing fuck all right now.
Yeah.
Or hell, if they wanted to throw in a huge-ass monkey wrench, they could throw Sheamus into the mix.
They could.
See, they have options.
Apparently on June 18th, they've got booked a 6-man tag match of the team of British Strong Style, featuring Pete Dunne, Trent Seven, and Tyler Bate taking on the Undisputed Era.
Okay, then.
Sounds like a good match.
Does.
Anyway.
Yes.
Wheel
of Disappointment.
Number 7. This is one of the other big stories I had. So WWE is in the process of shopping around takers for their TV deal. You hear about this?
Sorta, not the way I would have said it.
Okay.
Because they have re-upped their TV deal with NBC Universal on the USA Network. But for Raw only, and they're making quite a bit of money on it, and they're not going to be changing their format despite the fact that their numbers are constantly dwindling and are pissing off their fans. So, yeah, proof positive, WWE cares only about the money, not about the fans.
Mm-hmm.
However, the deal does not include SmackDown, and that NBC Universal was not interested in SmackDown. However, new reports have come out that potentially WWE is in negotiations with NBC Universal for SmackDown, but that part of said negotiations is to take SmackDown and make it a 3-hour show.
Oh, see, I didn't hear that part.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh God, please don't. That's why I said at the beginning of the show, I was like, that made me just say, oh God, Vince, don't do that. Fucking don't do that.
So, sources tell The Hollywood Reporter that SmackDown is being shopped around to various networks after NBC Universal, whose USA Network airs the highly rated pro wrestling matches, declined to re-up its deal. They're said to be focusing on renewing its pact for WWE Raw only, a deal expected to close at as much as 3 times its current value.
Yes.
They declined to comment, neither NBC or WWE. But Fox has been speculated as a possible home for SmackDown, though.
Yes. Fox and I can't remember the other network. There was another network that was it was Fox, Amazon, or Facebook are the 3 that were being shopped around, or they were considering putting it just on the WWE network.
Mm-hmm.
Which I would say, if it landed anywhere but Fox, then you and I and potentially Tiff might have to sit down and talk about what we're going to do with the fantasy law, because that's going to completely fuck it up. However, like I said, the latest report was that WWE is in fact in talks with NBC Universal for, to keep SmackDown on USA. And like I said, that said talks have included, like maybe USA asking them to make it a 3-hour show, or them offering saying, well, if you keep SmackDown, we will make it a 3-hour show so that you could put more ads in there and get more of that ad revenue. Because, possibility of the reason why they don't want SmackDown is because it's only a 2-hour show, so they don't make as much money on that as they would with SmackDown, which is a 3-hour show.
With Raw, you mean?
Or with Raw, yeah, which is a 3-hour show. So, by the way, that's what's going on right now. From what I understand, that there's a potential that SmackDown's going to go 3 hours, and I'm just like, like, we don't need SmackDown for a 3-hour show, especially when you're shoehorning in both brands into one pay-per-view. That just makes that idea seem even more fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you're going to have all this content on TV, and maybe about 50% of it is actually reflected in the pay-per-views. It's like, oh my God. So yeah, I'm worried here with WWE if they do that, because I'm like, I do not see the future boding well for World Wrestling Entertainment if this goes through.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. It was noted in the story that looking to keep Raw their current value. Let's see. Analysis indicates that the largest of the 3 contracts is domestic rights agreement, which airs Raw and SmackDown. Estimate the average annual value of that deal is $150 million, which is roughly equal to what we believe the payment is in 2017 at the halfway point of the contract. Assuming the $150 million per year is just for Raw and SmackDown, that would put each hour of programming at $30 million per year, or the average annual value of Raw at $90 million a year, and SmackDown at $60 million.
Mm-hmm.
However, Raw has a higher viewership than SmackDown, so it's fair to assume Raw is close to 2/3 of the value of the deal, since Raw averaged 64% of total viewership in 2017, with SmackDown at 36%. Using these numbers, with Raw getting 3 times its current value, that would mean the new deal for Raw is in the $270 to $300 million range.
Yes.
If it's at $300 million, that's twice the amount they're currently averaging for Raw and SmackDown combined. If they're able to secure a deal with the same raise for SmackDown, that would put in the $150 million to $180 million range. At that rate, the combined value would be between $420 million to $480 million, or about triple what they're currently earning.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Yeah. So what's your opinions on SmackDown potentially going 3 hours?
I could see why. It would give them equal airtime to Raw. It's just a matter of whether they can book it properly.
See, I think it would ruin SmackDown, because I think SmackDown right now is being booked pretty damn well.
Mm.
It's not perfect. I mean, there's always things they book that you're just like, that was dumb. However, I think it's a better booked show than Raw, if only because it's only 2 hours and it's not 3 hours.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I'm just afraid if it goes to 3 hours, it will truly be the B show, because it will be worse than Raw. But we'll see what happens. I mean, that deal could fall through. They could go with Fox or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, the ones in the runnings are Fox, Facebook, and Amazon. So.
Right. I'll say.
So SmackDown Live might be coming to Amazon Prime, yo.
Maybe. One thing that was pointed out to me is why Fox might not be a good deal is that Fox is very heavy on sports and will be leaning more so if the Disney merger goes through sale. And so if that's the case, SmackDown would find itself in a position where if SmackDown is following a sporting event, say a football or baseball game, SmackDown might find itself dealing with forcible preemptions because those games are going to take precedence. And I'm not sure WWE will sign a contract where they are susceptible to preemptions like that.
That is true. I hadn't thought about that, but you make a valid point. But then again, if Vince truly believes that SmackDown is the B show, Fox may be the network he wants to go with because he's willing to sacrifice SmackDown for something even greater. That's going to make him even more money in the long run. Because remember what he's starting up.
True.
And if he gets in the door with Fox, guess what network gets first dibs on the XFL?
True.
So, Vince McMahon, theoretically, if he gets in the door and gets in bed with Fox, stands to make far more money through that deal than he would lose on SmackDown getting shafted. And as we all know, with Vince, money talks, everyone else, there's the door. So I could see that deal being very, very favorable for Vince.
Neat.
But I could also see the USA one still being favorable because you could throw the XFL on there. That'd work too. And the current people that are dealing with Vince, and they are paying him bucket loads of money for Raw. So I could see him just staying in bed with them for that and be like, oh, yeah, you guys get first crack. Give me a good offer.
Yeah.
So, but then, of course, like I said, then there's the Facebook thing, which had a pretty successful thing with WWE with the mixed match challenge. And, Vince is trying to be all hip with the kids and try to get into, like, social media and stuff. So, yeah, I could see that. Amazon is the only one that I'm like, I don't really see Vince doing that one. But, hey, if they offer him enough money, why not? And you've gone silent.
Yeah, you're right.
So anyway, how many more we got left? Let's see what we got here. Oh, is that it? 11. No, we just have one left. Fair enough.
Yep, it's number 11. It's a minor note on, I want to say it's your roster, but I could be wrong. Actually, no, I think it's Tiff's, actually.
Okay.
Let's see here. WWE has confirmed that Randy Orton has undergone a minor knee surgery.
Well, my roster might be fucked too. I don't know if you have that on your news.
No, what's that?
Well, talk about Randy because it goes straight into that. It's basically the same thing with another superstar, so continue.
Okay, he had a successful surgery to repair a medial meniscus tear in his left knee. Randy said that he knew he needed the surgery since late last year, but had been waiting for the right time to get it cleaned out, and right now was the right time. He's currently recovering at home with his family, but says he is staying motivated to come back and dominate the blue brand.
Well, that might happen because I might just be getting fucked in the ass.
Okay.
Because I might lose Jeff Hardy.
Oh, dear.
Because he's been hobbling around, and so people are speculating that he might have a leg injury. But then other people are like, yeah, but then he's old and he's always been hobbling around because he's fucked his body up. That's nothing new.
Also true.
But people did report that, he'd been hobbling around quite a bit as of late. And like that when he was wrestling his match on SmackDown, supposedly, I didn't actually watch SmackDown, but supposedly when he was wrestling his match on SmackDown, like he wasn't moving around as well as like he normally would, and he could be seen hobbling around and stuff and favoring that leg. So while Jeff and WWE haven't come out and said that he's injured yet, there's the speculation is running rampant at the moment that he could be injured, and they're hoping that it's not a serious injury and that he'll just heal up on his own, which is why. And apparently it's not super serious if they haven't addressed it and they're not like give us the belt and go home. But so there's speculation there. So I'm worried because I'm like, if I lose Jeff Hardy, I'm fucked. I am totally fucked if I lose Jeff Hardy. But yeah, Tiff losing Randy Orton, that's going to be a big blow to her too. So everything's turning up, Jim. I hope you're happy, Jim. And you don't care. Lou, Jim.
I don't want things to be, drastically uneven. I like to have even in competition during the thing. I hope Jeff Hardy's not injured.
Yeah, but you have to be happy that at least for the first time in how many seasons, your roster is the one roster not getting cannibalized by injuries and firings.
This is true.
And you're in first place.
Also true.
So, yeah, everything's turning up, Jim, for this season. But we'll see. I'm hoping Jeff is okay. And that maybe he just tweaked something, like sprained something, and he's okay. But we'll see. Because if Jeff Hardy goes, we know where that belt's ending up. There is only one option on SmackDown Live right now. And that will completely fuck me in the ass. So.
Yep.
Because you know where that title's going if Jeff Hardy goes out injured.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with Orton injured.
Yep.
There's only one person who could actually take that title.
Pretty much.
And it would do well for his feud, but still.
Indeed.
But anyway, is that it?
That is it.
Excellent.
You have anything else?
No, that was it.
All right, then.
Easy.
All right, then.
So that was juicy news.
That was. Good stuff. All right, folks. That's been the news. I've been Jim. He's been Jeff. And we'll see you tomorrow for our usual shenanigans. We will score of the week and see where we're going.
Indeed.
Tiff will be with us. Should be a good time. Jeff, thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
Have a good night, everybody.